Gyros in Trinidad is one of the most loved street foods. And I personally think it's because we love meat. And it's cheap, it's meat, it's bread, we love sandwiches. You could stand up, you could bite it while you're liming, after you're liming. It's a quick filler. And traditionally, street food is that exactly. It's something that's cheap to serve the masses. So today on Street Food Tabanca, sponsored by B-Mobile, we're going to make a lamb gyro. All right, so we have 2 pounds of lamb here. This is the preferred amount. We're gonna season it. Salt and black pepper, just sprinkle it among. Oregano, coriander, cumin or Gyro. The recipe calls for cumin. I just put a little less Gyro as it's roasted cumin, and cinnamon. I'm gonna mix it with my hands. Best results is with your hands. Don't be afraid. You can put on gloves if you like. If you don't eat lamb and you eat beef, you could do beef alone. If you don't eat beef, you do lamb alone. And what you should try to do is get fatty meat. So make sure you get like a fatty mince. If you get a lean mince, most groceries here have a lean mince. What you can do is add bacon to it. Today we're not going to add bacon, we just have the lamb. So we're going to take this, cover it, and put it in the fridge for 2 hours, maximum overnight. Obviously all the flavors would melt better overnight. So yeah, this is it for the start of the gyro meat. All right, so we have our marinated lamb, a food processor, our spatula, very important, some onion and garlic. So what we're gonna do first is puree the onion and the garlic together, then we're gonna add the lamb. You might cry a little bit, but you know. So you're gonna add your lamb to this. And what we're gonna do is just it's gonna make a paste out of the meat, which is what gives us the texture that you see in the gyro meat from the big cones that we see by the vendors. It's not mystery meat. Well, I can't speak for the cones. I can speak for this one. Just gonna mix it up. So not quite yet, but we're almost there. What we want is a paste of sorts of the meat, so we could form it into the mold. Okay, so here you could see it's very pasty. Like if you spread it, kind of looks a little bit like potted meat in a way. This is what we're looking for. So now we're gonna shape into the mold and get ready to bake it. So we have our pureed meat, some skewers. So if you have large metal skewers, perfect. If you don't, you could get these extra long bamboo skewers in the supermarkets. And I just taped together 3 so it could be a little sturdy, because this is what we're gonna use to skewer our little meat cone on. And then a little baking dish if you have this, or alternatively you could put your meat, you could line your pan with foil like a bread pan and put your meat inside here. But we're going to do the skewer version today. So you're going to wet your hands because the meat is a little sticky from the fat. And you're going to place it on your foil. And you're going to shape it into a log. Well, not a log, but a round. Then you're going to roll it into a log. I'm kind of playing with it because I want it to come together nicely, like so it'll be nice and uniform. You'll see in the end, like the cones we see by the vendors. All right, so now we're gonna roll our little loaf so we can get it round instead of flat. All right, just keep running your hands like this. So like if you ever seen sushi chefs do their work, you're gonna keep rolling it like this. You're gonna roll it, right, and roll it, and you want to do it tight so it's compressed, right? So we have a cylinder. Ta-da! So essentially, we're making a pretend gyro machine with this. So the roll is going to be in here. So we're gonna take our skewers and puncture the meat all the way until the next side. Don't stab yourself, please be careful. All right, so now we have our gyro meat on our skewers, and it's gonna sit here so it can roast without touching the bottom or anything. If you have a baking pan with a rack, you could also use that. But yeah, now I'm gonna show you how to do it in the bread pan another way. So if you don't want to go to the hassle of the log, you can use a bread pan, piece of foil, line it, twist, line your bread pan with the foil. You're gonna put your meat into the pan, kind of like meatloaf, I guess. But you really have to press it down into the pan. This is a small piece of meat, and you want to press it because you want to compress the meat so you could get that look, because you know we have to carve this after, as you see by the vendor, right? All right, so we have our 2 gyro logs, and we're going to put it in the oven at 325 degrees. Remember to preheat your oven before you put it in, and we're going to bake it for about an hour. All right, so an hour has passed. Now what you want to do is you're going to take off the foil, because the last step is to get it nice and brown like how we see it by the vendor. Make sure and cool it before you take it out so you don't burn yourself like what I am doing here to myself. Ooh, juicy. So you're turning your oven up on the highest. So if your highest is 400, 475, just turn it to the highest one that your oven could go, and you're going to let it roast until it's nice and brown. All right, so after our time in the oven, we're going to have our lovely browned meat. So usually this is what's spinning. So we're going to take the skewers out because we're going to assemble our gyro. Ugh. So to get it to stand up so we could shave it down, just cut off the end. You can leave that piece for the cook. Right? And now we're gonna just shave it down like you see them do on the abs. All right, you're looking for thin slices. And what we're gonna do after is fry it up in the pan so so it get a little more crispy. This recipe gives enough for about 8 gyros. Alright, so just taking our shavings, putting it into a hot pan so to get a little crispy. So we have a small frying pan for this, and then this big pan is basically we're using it as the griddle for, you know, they toast it after. I'm a big advocate for toasted bread. So to assemble, just gonna warm this up a little bit so it will get a little pliable. Smells beautiful. Looks like it. Right, just so it could get a little pliable. You're gonna get these pizzas in the grocery. So you're gonna layer your pizza bread. We just have lettuce, tomatoes, and onions. Oops, daisies. And this is some garlic sauce. Gonna put our little gyro meat. Right, and we're just gonna wrap it up. I mean, I guess how they wrap it. Can I wrap it something so? Something so, and rest it so. Okay. All right, and we have a gyro. So now is the moment of truth. I'm gonna taste this to see if it tastes like what it's supposed to be like. I'm on the avenue. It's late at night. It's taking me there. Remember, this is a homemade gyro, but you're getting all the spices that you would taste in the commercially made gyro. So just believe you too can make this gyro at home by following the recipe on the website. And special shout out to Be Mobile for sponsoring this episode of Street Food Tabanca. Bye.